IndieSoup family, what is going on? Welcome back to another part of our Sneak Peek Week. Yes, that's right. You are joining us for IndieSoup Media Sneak Peek Week, where you're going to get a sneak peek into some of the creators and content that will be on the platform when we launch this fall. And look who I have right here, this wonderful gentleman next to me. This is Chris. Chris, my dear, how are you?
I'm well, Dr. Tachi. How are you?
Oh, fantabulous as per usual, and even more fantabulous because you're here next to me. So, if you don't mind, what I would love for you to do is introduce yourself to the audience and talk a little bit about what you do.
Okay. Well, my name is Chris Edwards. I am actually a photographer and social media manager slash director for a few brands, but I also am now doing some shows on your channel and on YouTube. So that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. I've got two shows coming up for you this fall, and I'm really excited to share it with you and your audience.
And we're excited that you said yes to the call of IndieSoup. I say this to all the creators that come on, that thank you for saying yes to the call and for sharing yourself with us. So tell us a little bit more about your background. You said you're a photographer. You also do some social media stuff. Talk about some of the types of things you do.
Okay, so well, my career started in architecture. I did that for 20 something years, and I
Mm.
left that back in 2020 during the beginning of the pandemic, and started doing social media and social media management. I have a couple clients, high profile clients, in the music industry and also hat companies that I work with. I manage their social media, their Instagram, their Twitter, their Facebook, their website, their social media campaigns. And then also, and additionally, I do photography, and some of that photography actually pans over into the social media realm. So I'm very excited about those aspects, and then also I love having conversations with people, and this was like a natural progression. I started doing Instagram Live every Friday called Friday Conversations with Chris Edwards, and that did really well, and I was able to meet some really interesting people, and I wanted to really get into the format that it was made for, which was YouTube. And then, meeting you and having conversations with you, I really want to be a part of the IndieSoup network, and here I am right now.
Here you are right now. That is wonderful. Let's get into the sort of meat of what you're going to have on Indie Soup. And we're lucky enough to have two, not one, but
Yeah.
two of Chris's shows. So let's talk a little bit about Safe Space. Tell us about
Yes.
that.
All right. So I don't know one. I don't know why I decided I was going to do multiple shows, but here I am. So Safe
Here you
Space.
are, too late, no backsies.
Yeah, I know, right? So Safe Space is dedicated to the LGBTQ community, and it's coming from a different perspective. It's coming from the Caribbean descent and background. A lot of people like myself, I am part of that community, and I am of Jamaican descent. I was actually born in Jamaica. I left when I was 3. And I really want to focus on people that are from the Caribbean and how we deal with either coming out, letting people in, and what our journey has really been about, and how do we navigate life being coming from that community. So that's what that show is really about. The very first episode, I will actually start it off and talk about my experience in regards to what it means for me to let people in and what my journey's been over the last several years. And then the pilot episode, which has already been shot, I'm really excited for everyone to see. It's a friend of mine, Alec Maslin from Meet the Maslins, who they actually have a YouTube channel. He really starts to show off and gives us some insight to where he's coming from, how he's gotten to this place in his life, and how his life has drastically changed. He's a transplant now because he's migrated from Jamaica to the U.S., living in South Florida right now. So it's been an amazing experience, and I'm really looking forward to some of the guests I'm going to be having on for this particular season.
Mm. And so now let's talk about, well, before I get to that, I do want to delve a little bit more into this. It's really interesting that you chose to look at creating a safe space for LGBTQIA plus
Hmm.
community that happen to be Caribbean as well. Do you feel that there is even more of a need amongst Caribbean people in that community?
Absolutely. So one of the things you'll find out, especially in that pilot episode, is that it's actually still illegal to be gay or part of the LGBTQ plus IA community in the Caribbean. They're actually
Mm.
a book. So it's a lot of don't ask, don't tell type of thing. And you find that there's a lot of people. So I had interviewed Alec and his husband on Valentine's Day of this past year, and I got a lot of feedback from people from the Caribbean saying, "I'm so glad to see that there's someone else out there like me. This was such a necessary conversation." And you don't see a lot of people talking about being gay, being from that community, from the Caribbean, because it's so hush hush. And well, part of it is this fear of retaliation and just being ostracized, and probably even losing your life. So I thought that this topic was very necessary, and this space was well needed.
Well, thank you for trusting us enough to provide that space on IndieSoup. We're really excited to be part of that conversation, or the many conversations. So now
Yeah.
let's get to Take Two. Tell us about Take Two.
Okay, so Take Two is a spin-off of Friday Conversations with Chris Edwards that I started on Instagram. It's
Okay.
really another look at going back at some of the guests that I had on over the last year, basically, because I started that show on as an IG Live last October, and I had about 23 guests on there every Friday at was it, I think 12:15 roughly. And we would speak anywhere from like a half an hour. It was really done as like a lunch break type of thing, where people can kind of tune in during their lunch break and just kind of see what people were what they were about. And how I approached that show was just finding people, interesting people, especially people of color, that are making inroads on social media. What I found is that people of color don't really get the opportunity that our white counterparts get. It's so much easier for them to get into the social media space, get recognized, get endorsements, get deals, and gain that following that a lot of them they do have. So I want to highlight a lot of people, and I've been doing this for a while, and I've come across some amazing and interesting people, and I really wanted to highlight and showcase them. So now to Take Two, what I'm doing is going back and revisiting some of these people and seeing where they are right now in their journey. A year has gone by, and a lot of them had great ideas, great businesses. I just want to see, how far they've come within this last year, and just kind of like check up in a way. And then also it's introducing these individuals to your network now, because, they were either only really seen on Instagram. Now they'll have a whole new platform to be viewed on, between YouTube, between Roku, between IndieSoup.tv. So they'll be seeing a lot more. So I want to bring more visibility to them.
More visibility to them, and that's why IndieSoup exists.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you have that same mission. And I mean, obviously, I saw straight away that you had that same mission, and I was excited about it. Wow. Well, so anything else you want to tell the audience about? Well, let me ask this. If this could be our final question, what should people bring when they're watching both of your shows? How should they be prepared?
Honestly, I would just say come with an open mind. Be willing to listen, be willing to learn, and just be willing to take in what these people have to offer. I think that there's such a rich diversity in the people that I'll be bringing to the screen to have these conversations. I don't look at it as a talk show interview. It's really about just sitting down and having a conversation the same way you and I are having a conversation right now. I love getting to know people and getting to know their backstories, because I find that so much more interesting than sometimes what they're actually even doing. It's how did you get to this point? What makes you you? That's what I really want to get to the heart of. And I want people to walk away getting to know people on a little bit more personable level, and then for them to go follow and really follow their journey, because it's really about their journey. It's not about the destination. It's really about the journey.
It's not about the destination. It is about the journey. That's the final word from Christopher Edwards, who is the host of both Safe Space and Take Two. You can find both of them coming up this fall on IndieSoup Media. Take Two is going to be on Wednesday evenings, and Safe Space is going to be on Friday evenings, both at, well, say Take Two is 9 on Wednesdays, and then
Yes.
8:30 on Fridays. So
Yes, for
you've
Safe
got
Space.
yes, you've got your prime time on lock with IndieSoup Media. And so again, we welcome you to the IndieSoup family, and we can't wait to work with you.
I'm so excited. And thank you so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And once again, folks, this is just a sneak peek of what's happening on IndieSoup Media this fall. So welcome to the sneak peek week, and stay tuned for more with our creators. Cheers.